Right. So today we're diving into some pretty murky waters,
Yeah.
politically speaking, at least.
Right.
We're talking about President Trump's recent actions, removing a whole bunch of federal inspectors general,
Mm-hmm.
all kind of in one shot. And our main source material today is this CBS News article
Okay.
that straight up calls it a purge.
Interesting.
And that's a pretty loaded word, so we're going to unpack exactly what went down. But more importantly,
Yeah.
we're going to try and understand, like, why should we even care about this?
Yeah.
You know, what are the implications here, particularly when it comes to, like, holding our government accountable?
Yeah, it's a really fascinating situation, and it really, I think, gets at the heart of that tension that can sometimes exist between the executive branch and the folks who are tasked with oversight.
So before we get into, like, all the specifics and the weeds of it all,
Sure.
can we just, like, take a step back and make sure everyone listening is on the same page?
Yeah.
What exactly, like, what is the role of an inspector general?
So in a nutshell, an inspector general, or IG, acts as a sort of independent watchdog within a government agency.
Okay.
And they're responsible for investigating, any allegations of waste, fraud, abuse,
Oh, I don't know.
making sure that, taxpayer dollars are being used responsibly and that the agency is actually operating effectively.
So it's kind of like internal affairs, but for the entire government.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a role that really gained a lot of prominence in the aftermath of the Watergate scandal.
Right.
And there was this big push for more accountability and transparency in government.
Which I guess makes CDS's use of the word purge even more,
Yeah.
eyebrow raising.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, purge, it's not exactly a subtle word, right?
No, it's not.
It implies like a very deliberate
Yeah.
and possibly politically motivated removal of people.
Mm-hmm.
People who are seen as obstacles or threats or whatever. So it definitely makes you wonder about the motivation behind these firings.
It does, and especially given the timing of it all.
Oh, yeah.
Happening late on a Friday night.
Classic Friday night news dump.
Right, exactly. That they'll try and bury the news when you hope no one's paying attention.
Hoping that by Monday, everyone's moved on to something else.
Exactly.
So it's like trying to score a goal when the goalie's not looking or something.
Yeah.
Very strategically timed. So who exactly were some of the IGs that got the axe?
Well, the CBS article mentions a few, and one that really stands out is the IG for the intelligence community, who you might remember played a pretty key role in the investigation that ultimately led to President Trump's first impeachment inquiry.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's adding fuel to the fire here in terms of the concerns about these firings, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, as well as a number of watchdog groups, have expressed, serious concerns about the potential impact this could have on government accountability and oversight.
So what's the other side of the story? What are folks in the administration saying?
Right.
What's the justification for removing all these people?
Well, the White House has maintained that, the president has the authority to remove IGs. Which technically is true.
Okay.
However, critics are pointing to the way these firings were carried out. The timing,
right.
The lack of any clear explanation. And they're saying that, it raises some serious red flags.
This whole thing kind of makes me wonder, how often do presidents actually remove IGs?
Yeah.
Is there like a standard procedure for this, or is this like uncharted territory?
So there are established procedures for removing IGs, but it's definitely not a common occurrence.
Okay.
And when it does happen, there's usually a very clear rationale provided to Congress and to the public.
So this is more than just like routine personnel changes.
Yeah.
This is like really raising some fundamental questions about the balance of power.
Absolutely.
And the importance of having independent oversight.
Right. I mean, our entire system of government is built on this idea of checks and balances to prevent any one branch from having too much power.
Right.
And IGs play a vital role in that by, serving as a check on the executive branch.
It's easy to kind of get lost in the specifics of, this particular event, but I think it's important to keep the bigger picture in mind here.
Yeah.
These firings, they could have a lasting impact on how our government functions and how much the public trusts those institutions.
I think that's exactly right. If people start to feel like those in power can operate without any real accountability,
right,
it really erodes trust in the whole system.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We looked at the facts, the context, and the potential implications of these IG firings.
Yeah.
It's definitely a complicated issue with no easy answers.
And it's something that I think we should all be thinking about, you know? How do we ensure that our government remains accountable to the people?
Right.
How do we balance the need for oversight with the authority of the executive branch?
Right.
These are questions that we're going to continue to debate.
And they're definitely questions I hope everyone listening will, continue to explore on their own.
Yeah.
Read different perspectives. Think about the arguments and come to your own conclusions.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, a healthy democracy depends on, informed and engaged citizens.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.